What up, peeps? I'm Kamon again. I'm going to talk to you about what interval notation is. Just a quick intro here. First of all, interval notation is just simply it's a convention change that box there. It's a convention for describing subset. And I know that's a lot of complex words. What I really mean is, let's suppose we've got an inequality. Go ahead and describe an inequality here. Double inequality. Let's go from say -3. We want x to be between -3 and +6. And in order to describe this, go ahead and draw on here what the graph would look like. And of course, we know that there'll be an open circle on -3, and a closed circle, an open circle on 6. And we're describing all of the values in between -3 and 6. So essentially, an interval notation is just an alternative presentation of the double inequality in this case. It's going to look like this. I'm going to go ahead and put a -3 here, describing the lesser of the two boundary points in the inequality. And then I'm going to separate that with a comma and then describe the greater of the two boundaries, in this case 6. And then the interval notation, what makes it special is that you put parentheses around those two numbers. And that is the interval. And that's the whole thing. I know it looks like an ordered pair, but that's what it looks like. Now, I'm going to change up a couple things here. What if, instead of the inequality being x strictly greater than -3 and strictly less than +6, what if instead there were, that's terrible looking, what if it was less than or equal to in both cases? So x is greater than or equal to -3, x is less than or equal to 6. Of course, we know that in the graph here, we would shade in the boundary points, just like that. What does that do to interval notation? Well, we have to change very little. Whereas before, when they were strictly less than, because you remember we had the parentheses here, this time, because they are closed, we can put brackets around. And this time the interval notation indicates that this is all the values for x between -3 and 6, including the boundary points. And the kind of neat thing is that these can be used in combination as well. You can see I've changed this. This time I'm going to have the boundary point at -3 shaded in because x is greater than or equal to -3. But it's still going to be strictly less than 6, and we've got the open boundary point at 6. So in this case, we can use a combination of brackets and parentheses to describe the interval. In this case, we'll say that the endpoint, the boundary point at -3, we'll be using a bracket because -3 is a part of the interval, whereas 6 is not a part of the interval. So we use parentheses. And that's the brief intro for how interval notation is used as an alternative to a double inequality. Here's